Hey folks, Jimmy here, aka Palette of the Dead. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to a new Warhammer 40k Imperium video. As per usual, if you like these videos, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and of course, drop a comment down below. Love hearing back from you guys, and it goes an absolute massive way to help the channel too. Now, this week we are on issue 25 of Imperium magazine, and we get our set of Immortals. So, 5 Necron Immortals. There are other ways of building those as well, so you can, if you wanted to, use these nice long rifles up here and make them into death marks. If you are going to do that, then you will be using these hooded cowl bits just up here and along there. But if you're not, then you will have some spare bits and pieces left over, and you also have different heads for different ones. So if you're going for the death marks, you go for those single eye-pieced heads. If you're going for your Immortals, just those ones there, and there are a couple of other weapons for you to use if you are going for the Immortals, which are these bigger, heavier weapons here. So really cool, damn cool units. You don't need to build the death marks though, apparently. So from the original image showing the whole overview of what you get with the collection, we'll get death marks anyway, so don't worry about it. You don't need to be building them. But really cool. I'm excited to get them going, and yeah, should be really good fun. Now, into the issue itself. Of course, we're greeted by the Necron Immortals. So these are the elite Necron infantry. So, Necron Immortals are elite Necron soldiers who possess the ability to think and fight independently of their commanders. They are equipped with heavier armour and superior weaponry and deployed against their dynasty's most powerful foes. So, with your Immortals, you have the option, of course, of the Gauss Blaster, which is a pretty damn cool weapon with the blade on the end as well, so it also has a little bit of good old melee ability to it as well. So the Gauss Blasters are larger and more impotent than the Gauss Flayers and Reapers wielded by Necron warriors. These weapons also have a greater rate of fire and can be fired on the move, granting the Immortals who wield them greater mobility on the battlefield. Or, if you wanted to, you can create the Tesla Carbine, which is the single barrel there, which Tesla Carbines are the smallest form of Tesla weapon, designed to be used by a single Immortal. These weapons fire arcing blasts of living lightning. These bolts crackle from foe to foe after striking their initial target, decimating entire enemy units in seconds. Really damn cool. I must admit, I like that Tesla Carbine. It's pretty damn cool. It's a pretty cool looking weapon, and the sound of what its abilities are, even better. Really cool stuff. And the Gauss Blaster as well, also a really cool weaponry. So, on the other page, you get, of course, to include your battle record, and including naming your gifts of Aeon and the battle damage themselves as well. And of course, you'll have your phalanx designation as well up there, and your legion commander. So, of course, each phalanx is a property of a Necron noble, and you have to write down that Necron noble's name essentially in there. And of course, you can include your phalanx glyph and much more as well, and your cohorts mentioned in there as well. So really cool stuff. But yeah, really good fun. So pretty damn good. You also get information on the Necron Royal Court. So whether they are Therons in command of an entire dynasty, or overlords in control of a handful of tomb worlds, powerful Necron lords all possess their own royal court. A selection of lesser nobles, military officers, cryptech advisors, and heavily armed bodyguards who help them rule their territories. So, for instance, you do get your overlords, like we've had before in previous issues, royal wardens, which are amongst the lowest ranking Necron nobles. They lack complete freedom of will, but retain their personalities and intelligence. The overlords and lords are prominent members of every royal court. Overlords can often control a large swath of Necron tomb worlds and possess vast legions. And then there are the Lich Bodyguard as well. So these are the elite bodyguards who are tasked with protecting their noble commander. Most high-ranking nobles possess a retinue of ever-vigilant Lich Guard protectors who accompany them at all times, which are also fairly cool-looking units with these shields and stuff like that as well. So, but they look slightly bit older than the other guys in their models, but really cool stuff. Nice to see that information. So of course, your Cryptex, we have the Technomancer, which we've already had one. There are Plasmancers, which also look pretty cool with their kind of their spear when the light's not reflecting on the page too much, which is pretty damn cool. There are Chronomancers just down here, and then we also have our Psychomancers as well. So pretty damn cool bits and pieces. Psychomancer's also really cool with its kind of translucent, almost like it's casting a spell, which is all pixelated as well, which looks really cool. It's quite fun as well. Then we get information of the rule of the Imperium. So rule of the Imperium falls to the High Lords of Terror, also known as the Senatorum Imperialis. This conclave of autocrats issues edicts in the Emperor's name, striving to maintain control. So there is the Senatorum Imperialis. The governing body of the Imperium is led by 12 leaders of the most powerful organisations of the Imperium. There are, of course, the Adeptus Mechanicus. So they are responsible for the Imperium's technology. The Adeptus Mechanicus is led by Mars's Fabricator General. There is Cult Imperialis, the official state religion of the Imperium. The cult's most senior figure is the Echilarch, sits as one of the High Lords of Terror. And then there is the Adeptus Administratum, which is a bureaucratic organisation made up of clerks, scribes and administrative staff. So, and that is essentially how they kind of level out as well on there. So depending on where they are in there, is their kind of ranking in the colossal bureaucratic engine of the Imperium. We also get some more information about it as well. So the governing of the Imperium just on here on this page. So of course, you know, a vast empire has to have a very well organised governing body to kind of accompanying it and keep it all together running and tickety-boo. Then we have a page about the Ultramarine. So this is the Empire of Ultramar. So unlike the majority of Space Marine chapters, the Ultramarines benefit not only from the rulership of a single home world, but an entire stellar empire known as Ultramar. The worlds of Ultramar provide resources and recruits for the chapter and in turn are protected by their Space Marine overlords. So, Ultramar is not just a single planet, it is a kind of a network of planets that are all under the protectionate of the Ultramarines themselves, and they will utilise them and use up resources from each one of them to provide them a kind of a growing empire, as you will. So pretty cool, and we get a bit more information about the Fortress of Hera, for instance, and some more information on the background here as well of the Ultramarines, which are the Space Marine chapter that the magazine wants you to paint. Entirely up to you if you have been painting it, but really cool either way to give you some history and lore about these guys as well. Then we get a how to build guide for the Necron Immortals. So there are free builds. So there are alternate build options which you can choose if you wish to, but if you're building Necron Immortals, follow this step-by-step guide. You're not going to have a problem with it. You'll have 5 32mm bases ready for you to get going, but really cool stuff. And then you've got your how to paint section. Pretty standard really. Entirely up to you how to do it. I personally would go for as these are an elite fighting force, you want them to stand out from your Necron warriors far more. Although they are slightly tankier and kind of a bit more hench, these guys will be, you want to be able to pick them out really dead easy from all your Necrons. But yeah, really cool, and it's pretty damn good. It's a pretty good little painting guide, works very well. Entirely up to you if you've been painting them that way, but you can get a really nice paint look out of it to keep you going. Now, on this page you also get your kind of your data sheet. So you've got your data sheet for a Royal Warden, and we also have the Immortals themselves listed on here. So you have the Ghost Blaster listed. So not the most fantastic, it's not the weapon I personally would choose. I'd prefer the other weapons, but you can also get the data sheets online for the other weaponry if you wish to, which isn't too bad. And then you also got your adaptive strategy kind of tutorials as well for your Relentless March and much more. Then we're going to get more and more rules. So over the course of the forthcoming issues now, they're going to bring in the actual main core rules for Warhammer 40k. So whether you're playing it on your own, whether you're playing it with other people, whether you're going to want to take it into kind of a Warhammer store or your local game store or anything like that where they play Warhammer, this is the type of information you are going to want to know over time. So definitely worth having a read through. Definitely worth trying to keep up on as well, but this will give you essentially the main details from the core rules book that you could normally buy, which is about 40 odd quid. But over time it's going to build up and kind of get you going in step-by-step format as well, which is always pretty handy in all honesty. Then we've got our playthrough, which is of course the scout, and you get to do the secure the perimeter playthrough. So you'll be going with your Necron Royal Warden, going up against the Space Marines Lieutenant. You will be using, for instance, your Primaris Lieutenant and altogether 10 Assault Intercessors. You'll be using your 1 Royal Warden if you're playing as Necronzo, your 5 Immortals and 10 of your Necron Warriors, going literally head to head, and have a bit of fun with it. Really, really good stuff. And quite fun as well. We also do get a little pull-out section as well. So we have the Forge Worlds that march to war. So we have different Forge Worlds for your Adeptus Mechanicus. So there is, of course, Mars, which is your standard paint scheme, which is that kind of red over cream colouring. We have Riser, which is an orange colour scheme, which is also very, very nice in all honesty. It's actually a really good colour kind of scheme. If you're painting kind of Martian style base in that red kind of arid orangey rocks, you're not going to want to have an orange colour or red. In all honesty, you need to go for something slightly different to contrast it as well. There is Metallica, which have kind of a more of a white and slight hints of red in their colour scheme, which is actually pretty nice in all honesty, but really, really good stuff. On the inside, we get some information about the Forge Worlds and how they kind of strategically disposition around there as well. So all the different sections, the macroclades, for command sections, for cohorts as well. So really, really good stuff. Pretty handy as well for the Adeptus Mechanicus, so you get to learn a bit more about them, but really, really cool as well. Next week we get issue 26, which is that Tech Priest Dominus. Pretty cool figure, quite a nice one. I must admit, I'm quite looking forward to it. It should be really good fun, and it's one that I must admit I've wanted to paint up for a while, so I'm quite glad I'm getting it with this magazine. So really, really good stuff. Issue 27, we get the first Heliotrope Reactor. So more scenery. We get only 1 out of 2 that we should be getting, so the other one will come at a later date, but really, really good stuff. Bit more scenery, bit more fun, and yeah, happy days. That's it from me. Thank you very, very much for watching, and I'll catch you sometime soon. Bye bye now.